The Galactic Council was in the middle of an important meeting. Representatives from dozens of alien species sat around a large circular table in the Council's Grand Hall. Tensions were high, as many members were growing concerned about the rise of a new power in the galaxy: humans. Earth, once a small, isolated planet, had suddenly started to expand its reach. Their technology had advanced faster than anyone expected, and now they were becoming a force to be reckoned with. The council members debated the humans' potential for days. Some believed that Earth's technology was nothing to fear, while others argued that the humans were a threat, ready to disrupt the peaceful balance of the galaxy. The debate was interrupted by a sudden alert. A new signal was being received from Earth. It was a deep space transmission, encrypted and mysterious. At first, the council members paid little attention. The signal had likely been sent by a scientist or a team of explorers from Earth. But as the signal grew stronger, their curiosity piqued. It wasn't just a random transmission. It was a call for help, or so it seemed. The message, though garbled, carried a sense of urgency. It spoke of a growing danger, something dark and powerful that was coming from the edges of the galaxy. The council quickly arranged a response, sending a fleet of scouts to investigate the source of the signal. They weren't concerned. After all, they had dealt with far more dangerous situations before. The humans were still a new species to the galaxy, and their technology, though impressive, was far behind the most advanced races of the Council. As the scouts made their way toward Earth, strange things began to happen. One by one, other alien fleets reported strange disturbances, blips on their radars that they couldn't explain. Ships malfunctioned. Communications went down. It was as if something powerful was blocking their transmissions, hiding the human homeworld from view. Back on Earth, the humans were preparing something. They had been working on a project for years, and now, the time had come to unveil it to the galaxy. They were ready. What no one in the Council knew, however, was that Earth's new weapon was not just a show of force. It was something far more advanced than they could ever have imagined. The signal from Earth grew louder, clearer. The Council was forced to take notice. Something was coming, and they were unprepared. The meeting room fell silent as the first signs of the human battleship began to show up on their radar. The members of the Council, once confident in their superiority, now found themselves questioning everything they knew about the galaxy. What could this mysterious signal mean? And what was Earth hiding? The Galactic Council was filled with whispers and uncertain glances. Representatives from the various alien species sat around the large circular table, their faces a mix of confusion and fear. For centuries, they had watched over the galaxy, keeping the peace and maintaining order. But now, something had changed. A new power had entered their space, one they had never seen before. The human battleship, the Resolute, appeared on their radar, its massive form dwarfing anything the Council had seen before. It wasn't just a ship. It was a symbol of something unknown, something they weren't prepared for. Its sleek design shimmered as it cut through the cold depths of space, making its way closer to the Council's territory. The Council members had thought Earth was just another developing planet. They knew humans were resourceful, but never had they imagined they could produce something like this. The human ship was larger than most of their warships, and its power was something they could only guess at. No one knew how the humans had built such a vessel, and that uncertainty began to stir panic among the alien representatives. Messages had already been exchanged, but they didn't help to calm the growing fear. The message from Captain Harper, the human in charge of the Resolute, was short and clear. "We are here to speak with you. Do not mistake us for weaklings." There was no apology in his tone, no attempt to soften his words. It was a direct statement, a clear declaration that the humans were here to be heard. As the battleship continued its journey through the galaxy, the Council tried to prepare. They ordered their fleets to stand by, not knowing if the humans intended to engage in battle or simply to make their presence known. Ships from various alien factions attempted to intercept the Resolute, but each time they were forced to retreat. Their communication signals were cut off, their ships disabled without a single shot being fired. The humans didn't need to fight. They had already proven their superiority. In the council chamber, the atmosphere grew heavier with each passing moment. The alien leaders began to argue. Some wanted to open fire on the human ship, to show them that the council was not to be challenged. Others suggested sending diplomats to meet with the humans, fearing the consequences of making an enemy out of them. But no matter what they decided, they all knew one thing for sure. The Resolute wasn't here by accident. The humans had come with purpose. The members of the Galactic Council, who had once felt invincible, now found themselves questioning everything they knew about the galaxy. They had always prided themselves on their strength, their technology, and their unity. But now, the humans had shattered that confidence in a matter of moments. The Council was no longer the dominant power in the galaxy. The Resolute had proven that Earth was a force to be reckoned with. The humans had arrived, and they weren't going anywhere. The atmosphere in the Galactic Council was thick with tension. Representatives from the various alien races had gathered once again, but this time there was no arguing. Everyone knew that Earth's battleship, the Resolute, was no longer just a mysterious presence in the galaxy. It was a very real threat. And now, it was time for the humans to make their move. In the Council's vast control room, monitors blinked as the Resolute approached the neutral zone at the edge of galactic space. Ships from several factions stood ready to confront it, their commanders unsure of what to expect. But just as the Council members began to prepare for the worst, a message appeared on their screens. It was from Captain Harper. "We come in peace," the message began, calm and composed. "But make no mistake, we are ready for war. Do not mistake our willingness for weakness." The Council stared at the message, each representative feeling a chill as the words echoed through their minds. There was no plea for peace, no diplomatic tone. The message was simple, clear, and firm. The humans had no intention of backing down. But there was something else in the captain's words that caught the attention of the Council. It wasn't just the threat of war, it was the confidence behind it. The humans didn't fear the Council. They were ready to fight, but they were also prepared to talk. As the Council debated their next steps, the Resolute moved closer. A few alien ships, eager to test the waters, made their move to intercept the human vessel. They formed a blockade, confident that the humans would either retreat or be forced into a standoff. But they were wrong. Without warning, the Resolute deployed a strange energy field that disabled the ships in an instant. No weapons fired, no explosions rang out. The ships simply stopped moving. The Council watched in stunned silence as the once mighty fleet of alien ships floated helplessly, their systems frozen, as if their very presence was being ignored by the human vessel. The Council had never seen anything like it. The human ship wasn't just powerful, it was beyond their comprehension. The energy field wasn't something any of them could replicate, and none of their technology had prepared them for this level of strength. The message was clear. The humans were not to be challenged. After a long pause, Captain Harper's voice came through again. "This is your final warning," he said, his voice steady. "We are not here to fight. We are here to discuss. If you wish to speak, we are ready. But if you challenge us, we will not hesitate." The Council was left speechless. They had been in control of the galaxy for centuries, and now they were facing a species that didn't play by the same rules. The humans had proven their strength, their resolve, and their fearlessness. And in that moment, the Galactic Council realized something they hadn't wanted to admit. Earth was no longer just a small, insignificant planet in the galaxy. It was a power to be reckoned with, one they would have to deal with carefully, or risk facing their own destruction. The ball was now in the Council's court, and they knew that Earth's power was not something they could ignore. The Galactic Council was no longer the united force it once had been. The appearance of the Resolute and the undeniable power it held had thrown the Council into disarray. Fear had settled in, creeping through the ranks of the once confident alien leaders. The Council had always prided itself on maintaining order and control in the galaxy, but now the humans had shaken that confidence to its core. In the council chambers, the representatives of the various species sat in silence, unsure of what to do. The Xandorians, a race known for their fierce warriors and advanced weapons, were the first to speak up. They were the strongest military faction in the galaxy, and they had always prided themselves on their power. But now, facing the humans, they were no longer so sure of their position. "The humans are not what we expected," said the Xandorian general, his voice low with concern. "They have technology we cannot comprehend. If we do not act now, we risk losing everything." Other representatives, from more peaceful races, like the Aetherans and the Illyrians, exchanged nervous glances. They had always believed in diplomacy, in peaceful negotiations, but after seeing the power of the Resolute, they too began to question whether diplomacy was enough. "The humans are not like us," said the Aetheran ambassador. "They do not fear war, and they do not back down. We must be careful. They might have the strength to destroy us all if they choose to." The fear in the room was palpable. The once proud members of the Council had always believed that they were the most powerful forces in the galaxy, but the humans had shown them otherwise. Earth, once a forgotten planet on the edge of the galaxy, had suddenly become a major player in galactic politics. As the discussions continued, the Council members were divided. Some suggested that they send a delegation to Earth to open negotiations. Others, including the Xandorians, pushed for a military response, wanting to strike before the humans could become an even greater threat. But no one knew what kind of response would be enough to deal with a species like humanity. Back on Earth, Captain Harper watched the Council's response from his command center aboard the Resolute. He knew that the alien races were afraid. Fear was a powerful tool, one that could either be used to manipulate others or to force them to act out of desperation. Harper wasn't interested in manipulating anyone. He simply wanted Earth to be respected, to have a voice among the stars. "We don't want war," Captain Harper said quietly to his crew. "But if they come for us, we'll be ready. We've worked hard to get to this point, and we won't let anyone take that away." As the Resolute hovered in space, its massive form looming over the Council's territory, it became clear that the humans had no intention of retreating. They had already proven their strength, and now they were watching to see how the galaxy would respond. Would the Galactic Council choose to accept the humans as equals, or would they choose to fight, pushing Earth into a war that no one could predict? The tension in the Galactic Council reached its peak. Days had passed since the arrival of the Resolute, and the Council was still divided. The peaceful races wanted to avoid conflict, hoping that diplomacy would prevail. But the military factions, led by the Xandorians, were growing impatient. They believed that the humans had shown enough strength to dominate the galaxy, and if the Council didn't act soon, the balance of power would shift forever. The Council had done everything in their power to avoid a fight. They had sent diplomats to the Resolute, hoping to negotiate a peaceful solution. But Captain Harper's message was clear. Humans were not looking for a fight, but they would not back down. The Council's emissaries returned with the same report. The Resolute was impenetrable, and its power was beyond anything they had ever seen. While the Council debated, the Xandorians decided to take matters into their own hands. They had always prided themselves on their military might, and the sight of the Resolute in their space had become an insult they couldn't ignore. Without waiting for the Council's approval, the Xandorians launched a preemptive strike, hoping to destroy the human ship before it could gain any more power. The attack was swift. Xandorian warships moved toward the Resolute at full speed, their weapons charged and ready. The Xandorian fleet had never encountered anything like this before. Their ships were equipped with powerful lasers and energy shields, but they were nothing compared to the advanced technology aboard the Resolute. As the Xandorian fleet closed in, Captain Harper gave the order. Without a single shot fired, the human ship activated its mysterious energy field. The Xandorian ships were suddenly frozen in place, their systems locking up as if they had been turned off. The humans didn't need to engage in direct combat. They simply disabled the attacking fleet with a wave of their power. The Xandorian fleet was helpless, their weapons useless, their ships floating motionless in space. It was a humiliating defeat, and the Council could only watch in stunned silence as the humans once again demonstrated their overwhelming strength. Captain Harper's voice came through the Council's communication channels. "This is the last time I will warn you. We do not want war. But if you continue to push us, you will learn what happens when humanity is forced to fight." The Council members sat in silence. The Xandorians, once the most feared race in the galaxy, had been humiliated. The other factions, who had watched the entire event unfold, knew that humanity was not a force to be underestimated. The Galactic Council had been put in a difficult position. They could no longer pretend that Earth was just a minor power. Humans had shown they were a force to be reckoned with, and now the galaxy would have to decide how to deal with them. Captain Harper, watching from the Resolute, knew that the battle for control had only just begun. But he was ready. The humans were no longer looking for permission. They were ready to shape their own destiny. The Galactic Council was in a state of chaos after the Xandorian attack on the Resolute had been completely neutralized. The council chambers were silent, the air thick with uncertainty. Representatives from different alien species exchanged worried glances, but none of them dared to speak. They had witnessed firsthand the overwhelming power of Earth's battleship, and none of them knew how to respond. The humans had proven something no one had expected. They were not just another species to be controlled. They had strength, cunning, and technology far beyond what the Council had imagined. In the aftermath of the Xandorian defeat, the Council quickly called another emergency meeting. The leaders of the different factions, some who had initially wanted to ignore the humans, now found themselves unsure of what to do. Should they prepare for war, or should they try to form some kind of alliance with Earth? Every option seemed risky, and no one knew how the humans would respond. Meanwhile, on the Resolute, Captain Harper and his crew remained calm. They had anticipated that the Xandorians might attack, but the response had been much easier than they had expected. The energy field that had disabled the Xandorian fleet was just one of the many surprises the Resolute carried. The humans had been preparing for this moment for years, and they had no intention of letting the galaxy think of them as weak. The humans' technology was more advanced than the Council had ever seen. Earth's battleship, the Resolute, was equipped with not just advanced weaponry, but an entire arsenal of unknown systems that had left even the Xandorians baffled. The energy field that had disabled the Xandorian ships wasn't just a weapon. It was a shield, capable of neutralizing any incoming attack without firing a single shot. The Council didn't understand how the humans had developed such technology, but the results were undeniable. As the Council debated behind closed doors, the humans were busy preparing for their next step. Captain Harper had already sent a message to the Council, offering once again to negotiate peacefully, but the Council was hesitant. The power that the humans displayed was not something any of the Council members could easily ignore. Some representatives were now beginning to see the humans not as a threat, but as a possible ally. But how could they trust a species so new to the galaxy, especially one with so much power? Harper knew that the galaxy had only begun to see what humanity was capable of. Earth's technology wasn't just about defense, it was about creation. The humans had built a society where innovation and problem-solving were at the core of everything they did. Their success didn't come from brute force, but from their ability to think differently, to push boundaries and discover new ways to solve problems. As the Council's discussions continued, the humans were ready for whatever came next. Earth was no longer just a small, insignificant planet at the edge of the galaxy. They had made their mark, and they were prepared to shape the future. The true question now was, would the galaxy accept them as equals, or would they resist, only to be overwhelmed by Earth's growing power? Captain Harper didn't need to wait long for an answer. He knew the galaxy was watching, and he was ready to face whatever came next. The Galactic Council had spent days debating how to respond to the humans. The fear and uncertainty that the Resolute had stirred among them still lingered. The Xandorian defeat had shaken them, but there was something else in the air now. A new, strange feeling that the council members couldn't quite place. Some of them were afraid of the humans, but others, including the peaceful races, were beginning to see something different. Perhaps the humans weren't the threat they had assumed. The council had decided to send one final delegation to Earth. A group of respected leaders from across the galaxy would travel to the Resolute and meet with Captain Harper. They hoped to understand the humans better and perhaps find a way to negotiate a peaceful settlement. But as the delegation prepared to leave, an unexpected message came through, interrupting their plans. Captain Harper had sent a new transmission, a simple message but with powerful implications. "We offer you an alliance." The council members were stunned. The humans, who had shown such strength, were now offering peace. It didn't make sense. After everything that had happened, the power, the threat of war, why would the humans want to form an alliance? What did they want in return? Harper's message was clear. "We do not want to dominate the galaxy. We want to work with you. We have no interest in ruling over anyone, but we ask for the same respect you give each other. Our power is not a threat unless you make it one. Let us work together to build a future where we can all thrive. Join us." The council was in shock. Many representatives wanted to reject the offer, thinking it was some sort of trap. How could the humans, who had displayed such incredible strength, suddenly turn so peaceful? But some of the more open-minded factions, including the Aetherans and Illyrians, saw something different. They had watched how Earth's battleship had taken down the Xandorian fleet without a single shot being fired. They had seen the humans offer peace instead of war. "Maybe this is what we need," said the Aetheran ambassador. "A new beginning. Perhaps the humans are offering us a chance to avoid war. Or perhaps they are testing our trust," said the Xandorian general, still wary. "Can we truly believe their offer? They have the power to crush us all." But the peaceful races, led by the Aetherans, began to speak more loudly. They pointed out that the humans had shown nothing but strength and self-control. They had not attacked, even though they could have easily wiped out entire fleets. They had given the council the chance to negotiate. They were offering something no one else had: true partnership. As the council debated, Captain Harper's words echoed in their minds. Could the galaxy really afford to turn away a species so powerful, so determined, yet willing to offer peace? For the first time, the council members found themselves asking a difficult question. Could the humans be the key to the galaxy's future? Could they truly work together, setting aside old fears, and build a new galaxy where everyone had a place? The ball was now in the council's court. Would they accept the humans' offer and form an alliance, or would they continue to let fear divide them? The Galactic Council was torn. For the first time in its long history, they were facing a decision that could change the fate of the entire galaxy. The humans, with their advanced technology and overwhelming strength, had extended an olive branch. They had offered peace and an alliance, but the council was unsure whether to trust them. The peaceful races, led by the Aetherans, were pushing hard for the alliance. They saw it as an opportunity to build a better future, one where humans could be trusted allies rather than enemies. Their view was simple. Earth's strength was undeniable, but they had shown restraint, offering peace instead of war. Maybe, just maybe, this was a chance for the galaxy to unite in a way it never had before. On the other side, the military factions, especially the Xandorians, were not convinced. They were still haunted by the defeat of their fleet at the hands of the Resolute. The idea of aligning with a species that had so much power and was willing to use it was terrifying. They feared that accepting the humans' offer would mean giving up their own position of strength. "We cannot trust them," the Xandorian general insisted. "Their technology is far beyond ours. They might be offering peace now, but what happens when they are ready to dominate us? This is a game, and we cannot let them play it with us." Despite the protests, The peaceful factions argued that rejecting the offer could mean war. The Atheron ambassador spoke with a quiet but firm voice. If we turn down the humans now, we risk pushing them into a corner. They've proven they don't need to fight to win. We've seen their power. They've already won this battle, but they're offering us a chance to join them in something greater. The council room grew tense as every species had their say, and the debate stretched on for hours. It became clear that the decision was not just about Earth. It was about the future of the entire galaxy, and whether the council could evolve, or if it would remain stuck in its old ways. Captain Harper, still aboard the Resolute, waited for a response. He had made his offer. The humans had shown their strength. Now, it was up to the galaxy to decide how they would respond. He knew the stakes were high, but he also knew that Earth was not asking for domination. They simply wanted a place at the table, a chance to shape the future alongside the other races rather than beneath them. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the council called for a vote. One by one, the members cast their ballots. Some voted for the alliance, believing in the possibility of a new beginning. Others, including the Xandorians, voted against it, fearful of what it might mean for their own power. When the votes were tallied, the outcome was clear. The majority of the council voted in favor of forming an alliance with Earth. The peaceful races had won the day. It was a decision that no one would ever forget, and it marked the beginning of a new chapter in galactic history. As the message was sent to the Resolute, Captain Harper's voice came through once again. Thank you for your trust. Together, we will build a new galaxy, one where all of us can thrive. The council had made its decision, and now, the real work would begin. The news spread quickly throughout the galaxy. Earth had been accepted into the Galactic Council. The humans, once a forgotten species on the edge of the universe, had now become full-fledged members of the Council, a new and powerful force among the stars. For many, this was a new beginning. The peaceful races, who had pushed for the alliance, were hopeful. They believed that working together with humanity would bring a new era of peace and cooperation. They looked forward to sharing technology, knowledge, and resources, knowing that humans, with their creativity and determination, would bring fresh ideas to the table. But not everyone was happy with the decision. The military factions, especially the Xandorians, were still skeptical. They couldn't shake the feeling that they had made a dangerous decision. They had seen the Resolute's power firsthand, and it had shaken them. Could they truly trust the humans? Were they really willing to work together? Or would they someday use their strength to crush the other races? The Xandorians, while not openly hostile, began to quietly prepare for the worst. They increased their military presence, strengthening their fleets, just in case. They didn't trust Earth's sudden shift toward diplomacy, and they were not willing to let their guard down completely. Meanwhile, Captain Harper and his crew aboard the Resolute were preparing for their new role in the galaxy. They had shown their strength, and now, it was time to prove that their offer for peace was genuine. Earth was ready to work with the other races, to contribute to the future of the galaxy, but Harper knew it would take time to earn the full trust of the other species. The first meeting with the Council's newly formed intergalactic task force was set. Earth's representative, along with diplomats from the other races, would gather to discuss the future of the galaxy. There was much to discuss. Trade routes, resource sharing, and perhaps most importantly, how to maintain peace with such diverse and powerful civilizations all working together. As Harper prepared for the meeting, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. Earth had come a long way since the days of space exploration. Now they were not just visitors in the galaxy. They were part of it. He understood the challenges ahead. Earning the trust of the other species would take time, and there would be obstacles along the way. But he was ready. He knew that humanity had the resilience to face anything that came their way. The Council's decision had opened the door to a new future, one where humans and aliens could learn from each other, grow together, and shape the galaxy as equals. But the path ahead wasn't without danger. There would be those who would resist, factions that would question the alliance. But Harper wasn't worried. He knew that humanity's strength came not just from their technology, but from their will to fight for what was right. As the Resolute moved to its new position among the Council's fleet, Captain Harper stood at the bridge, looking out into the vastness of space. It was a new beginning, but it was only the start. The future of the galaxy was uncertain, but for the first time, humanity had a real chance to shape it, and Harper knew that they would rise to the challenge. The Galactic Council was in the middle of an important meeting. Representatives from dozens of alien species sat around a large circular table in the Council's Grand Hall. Tensions were high, as many members were growing concerned about the rise of a new power in the galaxy. Humans. Earth, once a small, isolated planet, had suddenly started to expand its reach. Their technology had advanced faster than anyone expected, and now they were becoming a force to be reckoned with. The council members debated the humans' potential for days. Some believed that Earth's technology was nothing to fear, while others argued that the humans were a threat, ready to disrupt the peaceful balance of the galaxy. The debate was interrupted by a sudden alert. A new signal was being received from Earth. It was a deep space transmission, encrypted and mysterious. At first, the council members paid little attention. The signal had likely been sent by a scientist or a team of explorers from Earth, but as the signal grew stronger, their curiosity piqued. It wasn't just a random transmission. It was a call for help, or so it seemed. The message, though garbled, carried a sense of urgency. It spoke of a growing danger, something dark and powerful that was coming from the edges of the galaxy. The council quickly arranged a response, sending a fleet of scouts to investigate the source of the signal. They weren't concerned. After all, they had dealt with far more dangerous situations before. The humans were still a new species to the galaxy, and their technology, though impressive, was far behind the most advanced races of the council. As the scouts made their way toward Earth, strange things began to happen. One by one, other alien fleets reported strange disturbances, blips on their radars that they couldn't explain. Ships malfunctioned. Communications went down. It was as if something powerful was blocking their transmissions, hiding the human homeworld from view. Back on Earth, the humans were preparing something. They had been working on a project for years, and now, the time had come to unveil it to the galaxy. They were ready. What no one in the council knew, however, was that Earth's new weapon was not just a show of force. It was something far more advanced than they could ever have imagined. The signal from Earth grew louder, clearer. The council was forced to take notice. Something was coming, and they were unprepared. The meeting room fell silent as the first signs of the human battleship began to show up on their radar. The members of the council, once confident in their superiority, now found themselves questioning everything they knew about the galaxy. What could this mysterious signal mean? And what was Earth hiding?